Welcome back, America. Morning glory to you and bonjour hi to my Canadian listeners. It is Fire and Rain Day as President Joe Biden celebrated 13.5% year-over-year inflation at the grocery store by having the redoubtable James Taylor sing Fire and Rain for the 10,000th time at the White House. I'm joined by United States Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. Senator Blackburn, always good to talk to you. What do you make of James Taylor singing at the White House Fire and Rain when Americans are watching their stock markets decline and their food prices soar?
And on a day when they got a bad inflation number for a bill that was the most misnamed bill since the Affordable Care Act, and their solution to dealing with this unprecedented inflation, as you said, 13%. When you're looking year over year, 8.3% was their number for the month of August, and they're out there celebrating and saying, spend more money. I mean, it's ludicrous.
Now, Senator, you've run a lot of successful campaigns, and you know there's an advance team, and they set up advance events, and you walk in, and someone gives you notes, and you do what your planners have decided to do, and you listen to your campaign manager. At the White House, they have an advance team, and they've got the allegedly smartest people in the world designing events. Getting an aging hippie rock star, and he's our era, right? I mean, we were kids when he was playing out there, James Taylor. But nevertheless, who thought that up? What were they thinking?
Well, I think they thought they were going to be dancing there in the Rose Garden and on the South Lawn. And this is someone who they thought would be appropriate to come in and croon for all of the leftists who are celebrating that their intended, and I say that purposefully, their intended actions are producing what they had hoped would be the result, which is high inflation. It makes people fearful. Fearful people are easier to control, so they feel like they're rocking and rolling. And to them, I'm sure having James Taylor come and sing to them and celebrate seemed like a perfectly normal thing. But to Tennesseans that watched what happened yesterday, they're saying, this is ridiculous.
I think the red wave is going to be huge, and part of it is just utter cluelessness on the part of the president. Senator Blackburn, on the side, you've got a new constituent. His name is John Schroeder. Just moved to your state from California, so he's a California refugee, but don't answer his calls. What is grocery shopping like in Tennessee right now? Is it the same full 13.5% year-over-year increase?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I visit with each of our 95 counties every year, and so many times I've heard from citizens in counties that would say, oh, they're saying it's only 5%, 6%, 8%, 9%. They need to go to the grocery store with me. Because the true inflation rate to a family is the inflation rate on the basket of goods that they actually purchase. And if you look at what it takes to pack a school lunch with bread, with peanut butter and jelly and snacks, that is up about 13% itself. So people are seeing a higher rate of inflation on the basket of goods that they have. And I know I've talked with people who have used some of these online calculators, Hugh, to go in and enter in what they buy every month so that they can look at what the true inflation rate is. And we do know that it takes each family about $460 more per month to buy the same basket of goods they were buying this time last year.
So, of course, you can't do that. People can't, they don't have that kind of budget flex. Even if they got a small raise, they can't do that. So they have to start cutting out stuff. And you can drive a little bit less when gas is high, and then gas demand goes down, and gas prices went down at the end of the summer driving season. That was to be expected, but they can't not feed their family. So they drop down to market quality. They might go to a wholesale store and they buy a worse brand of toilet paper, or they buy day old with 1 day to go expiration meat, that sort of stuff. But at some point, they can't make up the difference, Senator, can they?
Well, it becomes very difficult to make up the difference. And I've talked to a lot of young moms who have talked about how diligent they are with using digital coupons and things to try to pinch pennies. I have talked to grandparents who help with grandchildren who are talking about buying down the quality chain and using more frugal approaches to try to help their families soften the blow of this high inflation. Because you take two parents that are working and you say, okay, just to tread water is going to take us about another $500 this month. That is very difficult to do.
So the three big issues in the November election are inflation, crime, and the border. But I'm beginning to think it's only going to be about inflation, Senator, because crime is something that if you take very good precautions, half the country can at least avoid, a quarter of the country can minimize, and a quarter of the country can't do anything about because of where they live. And the border is assaulting every one of us with fentanyl and with people who have just arrived here being bussed all over the country. But I do think inflation is, Minnesota starts to vote in 20 days. They start voting on, I think, the 22nd of September in Minnesota. The election is here. The Democrats can't change the narrative.
It is very difficult for them to change the narrative. And people will vote their pocketbooks, and people are going to vote their safety and security. I will add to your bucket of issues. The other one we're hearing a good bit about is kids in schools and what is happening with these woke school policies and frustrations. And a great example of this is the race out in Washington State between Patty Murray and Tiffany Smiley. Patty Murray has stood up and supported the teachers' unions, the lockdowns, the mandates. And Tiffany Smiley is closing in on that race very rapidly because she has stood up for parents, that parents have rights to weigh in on the education of their children. So I would add that issue to the bucket of issues that you're discussing.
I'm talking to Tiffany Smiley tomorrow, and I will make sure I do that. Senator Marsha Blackburn, always a pleasure to talk to. Good luck telling Tennesseans that help is on the way. We got to elect both Senate and House Republican majorities to cut spending. It's the only thing to do other than raise interest rates, and I appreciate your joining me, Senator. Thank you.
You got it.